everyone. Welcome into another. Let me adjust tilt my camera up just a hair here. Hi everyone. Welcome into another episode of Matt Sports Talk. And in this video, we are going to be recapping all of the Crossroads League Tournament quarterfinal games from the women's side last night. And before we do, I wanted to mention that, of course, I mentioned in my video, I think it was Monday. It was Monday when the updated RPI numbers came out. I mentioned that at that time that I was unsure if I'd be able to record any episodes that I had planned for later this week because of a potential winter storm, and that the winter storm did not happen. So that means that I will be able to upload the episodes that I had already had planned, meaning recapping all the women's games from last night today, recapping the men's quarterfinal games tomorrow that are happening tonight, and then recapping both the men and the women's Crossroads League Tournament semifinal games that will be coming up Friday night and Saturday afternoon respectively. Those will be coming your way Saturday and Sunday respectively. And next week is up in the air because there is hints of a major winter storm hitting this part of Ohio on Monday. So again, that could Monday would not really affect anything. It would just be Tuesday with recapping the Crossroads League Tournament Championship game for the women, and then, of course, the men's championship game I'd be recapping next Wednesday. And then we get to the meat of the national tournament with making my final predictions based off of final RPI, final ARC, and final quad records. Now, I did see the other day that the NAIA is not going to release the last RPI until next Tuesday, the 3rd. They are not going to release the final ARC and quad records until the next Thursday, the day of the selection show. So, I'm not going to be able to go as in-depth of making my final predictions for just the bubble teams on the Crossroads, GPAC, and Mid-South. I will not be able to go as deep into that as I had originally planned on doing. But I will still be, rest assured, I'll still be making my final predictions just going off of final RPI, final ARC, and final quad records for just the bubble teams in those respective 3 conferences. I'll still do that right before the selection show, so that probably I'll be uploading that probably around 4 or 4:30, I would say, next Thursday. It might be earlier than that. It just depends on whenever the NAIA uploads that information. If they, for whatever reason, do not have that uploaded before the selection show, then obviously I will not be able to record my final prediction video for the national tournament. So again, it just depends on what time the NAIA uploads all that information next Thursday. But for sure, I'll be posting videos next week going over the final RPI numbers. That's going to be coming out next Tuesday. So barring the major winter storm that could hit, I definitely plan on recording that episode on Tuesday, going over all of that with you. So again, make sure that you stay tuned for that. And finally, if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe down below so you do not miss out on any of this important information, because this is where it's just getting more and more exciting as we get closer and closer to a national tournament. So this is the place to be here on my YouTube channel. Of course, I'll be posting links on my Twitter account as well to my channel here on YouTube. So you can also follow me over on Twitter at Matt J. Harden, all in lowercase. And so in case you don't have the YouTube available, you can just go to my Twitter account and then click on the link, and that will take you to my videos. So without further ado, we are going to recap all the Crossroads League Tournament quarterfinal games from last night. And the first matchup will be in Indianapolis, where number 1 seeded Marion faced off against 8 seeded Grace. And Marion, no problem here, 102-54 the final score here. And, of course, for Grace, Becca Longenbaugh and Molly Long played in their final collegiate game. So, obviously, we hope and pray that their future is definitely bright, and definitely we appreciate everything that they have done for the Grace program. So, leading the way for Grace was Emma Sperry, with 18 points, 7 of 22 shooting, with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. So, it's really, really good numbers there. You had 10 points for Morgan Hauk, who struggled shooting, but she had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. 8 points for Maddie Pointer. Now 4 of the 8 were at the free throw line, though. She also had 3 rebounds and 1 assist. You had 5 points each for Becca Gert with 11 rebounds, so really, really good to see that. 1 assist as well. And then Becca Longenbaugh also at 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Off the bench, you had Abby Ratsima with 3 points, which was all charity stripe, 1 rebound and 1 steal. Kate Thomas had 2 rebounds in 18 minutes of action. Molly Long, 1 point in 8 minutes of action. That was at the free throw line. She also had 2 rebounds. Paula Fernandez in 4 minutes of action did not score. Ava Yordi, 2 minutes of action, had a rebound. Braylon Terrell, 4 points, 2 of 2 shooting with 4 rebounds. And then Riley Wetz, 3 minutes of action, had an assist. And Grace really struggled shooting at just 26 from the field. They really struggled from 3 at 17, and they also struggled at the free throw line, converting 11 out of 18 for 61. And looking up stats for Marion, they had a huge game by Abby McNally. Really, who else? 13 of 14 shooting, 4 of 6 of the line, 12 rebounds, so a double-double for her. She also had 1 steal and 30 points. Just absolutely amazing by the senior. Her sister Kylie had 11 points, 5 of 9 shooting with 8 rebounds, 3 assists. 2 points from Madison Bailey. She had 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals, though. It's really good to see that. You had 9 points for Olivia Faust, 4 of 5 shooting, 1 of 2 at the line, 3 rebounds and 2 assists, and 7 points for Kenna Kirby with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. It's really good to see that. And then off the bench, you had Aubrey Frank with 17 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, 4 of 4 at the line. She had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. 16 points for Kennedy Coleman off 8 of 10 shootings. Really good numbers there. 8 rebounds and 1 steal as well. Emma Simpson, 6 minutes of action, had 3 rebounds and 1 assist. 4 points for Violet Shuluga in 15 minutes of action, 2 of 6 shooting with 1 rebound, 4 assists, 1 steal. 4 points for Zoe Wheeler, now 2 of the 4 with the free throw line though. She also had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And then 2 points for Emily Grimm with 7 rebounds and 1 block. And Marion shot really well from the field at 53. They struggled from 3 at 28. Now they were better at the free throw line, converting 12 out of 17 for 70%. And that was your match up there. The next matchup will take us to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where 7-seeded Taylor went and visited 2-seeded St. Francis. St. Francis, no problem here, 77-50, and the big difference in this game was the second quarter, where St. Francis outshot Taylor 22-6, and that was pretty much the end of that. Leading the way for Taylor, 16 points for Casey Warfel. What a job by the young freshman this year. 6 of 16 shooting, 3 of 8 from deep, 1 of 2 at the line. She had 2 assists, 1 rebound and 1 steal. You had 8 points for Maddie Allen, 3 of 7 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Marissa Trout did not score, but she had 2 rebounds and 1 assist, though. 5 points for Emma Ancelet with 5 rebounds and 1 block. And you had 8 points for Quinn Kelly, 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Off the bench, you had Emma Full with 2 points, with 2 rebounds and 1 steal. Kendall Seitzema did not score in 8 minutes of action. Selena Blount, 6 points, 3 of 5 shooting, with 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. And then 2 points for Katie Moyer in 4 minutes of action. Both of those were at the free throw line, though. She also had 2 rebounds. Callie Almond in 3 minutes of action had a rebound. Kaylin Bunch, 3 minutes of action, a rebound plus an assist. And 3 points for Micaiah Musselman in 4 minutes, 1 of 2 shooting, 1 of 1 at the line with 1 assist. Taylor shot 35 from the field, 29 from 3. So really not great numbers there, but they were excellent at the free throw line, converting 4 out of 5 for 80. And then looking at stats for St. Francis, you had 11 points for Taylor Fordyce, 3 of 6 shooting, 3 of 5 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. Julia Mantala, 12 points, 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. 7 points for Renna Schweiderman with 3 rebounds and 5 assists. And then 9 points for Isabella Gizzi with 9 points, as I mentioned, 3 of 8 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And leading the way, no surprise here, Callie Gregory with 17 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. She had 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Then off the bench, Samaya Stout with 12 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Diona Craig, 4 minutes of action, had an assist. Ashley Cox, 4 minutes of action, had a rebound plus a steal. 4 points for Allison Shue with 3 rebounds in 6 minutes of action. Emma Royst, 3 points with 6 rebounds. And Rachel Harshman with 2 points in 4 minutes of action with a rebound. And St. Francis shot excellent from the field at 45, excellent from 3 at 48, and they were excellent at free throw line, converting 9 out of 9 for obviously 100%. And that was your match up there. The next matchup will take us to Spring Arbor, Michigan, where 6-seeded Bethel face off against 3-seeded Spring Arbor, and this was a big upset here. One of the 2 massive upsets that we saw. Bethel prevailing here 74-68, and I picked Bethel to win this game because they are really they are really just playing red hot in the Crossroads League right now. They're the hottest team in the league. That's what I meant to say. And leading the way for Bethel, 26 points for Isabel Scales, 7 of 8 shooting, 12 of 17 at the line, 9 rebounds and 1 steal. 15 points for Olivia Nickerson, 4 of 9 shooting, which was all from deep, 3 of 4 at the line, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. You had 10 points for Jasmine Smith and 10 rebounds, so a double-double for her. She was 3 of 5 shooting, 4 of 5 at the line with 2 steals and a block. Only 2 points for Isabella No, but she had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals, though. And then 6 points for Mariah Claywell. She struggled shooting at 3 of 11, but she had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 steals. Really, really good to see that. And then off the bench, you had Hannah Ruddle did not score in 9 minutes, but she had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. 3 points for Jocelyn Marshall. They were at the free throw line, though. 2 rebounds as well. 7 points for Justice Williams. Now 3 of the 7 were at the free throw line, though. She also had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Lovebrain Gaskins with 5 points in just 7 minutes of action, 2 of 2 shooting, 1 of 2 at the line with a rebound. And Annabelle Wilhite, 1 minute of action, no statistics. And Bethel shot the ball really well from the field at 44, struggled from 3 at 26, and they were decent at the free throw line, converting 26 out of 36 for 72. And leading the way for Spring Arbor, it was Ryland Goodwin off the bench. 22 points, 7 of 12 shooting, 2 of 6 from deep, 6 of 6 at the line. She had 2 rebounds and 1 steal. You also had 2 points off the bench for Aubrey Crockett with 6 rebounds, 2 assists. 4 points for Rachel Reichard. Now 2 of the 4 were at the free throw line, though. She also had 3 rebounds. 4 points from Madison Socini with 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Elena Blumberg off the bench, no statistics. And for your starters, Megan Zeitz with 12 points. Now 6 of the 12 were at the free throw line, though. She also had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 steals, and 2 blocks. Really, really good balanced numbers there. And then 11 points for Elena Kolesa, 5 of 8 shooting with 1 rebound, 2 assists, 3 steals. Only 1 point for Haven Chapman, but she had 2 rebounds and 2 steals. 7 points for Emma Smyska. Now 5 of the 7 were at the free throw line, though. She had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 steals. And Ashley Weller with 5 points, 2 of 6 shooting with 2 rebounds and 3 assists. And Spring Arbor struggled shooting at 36, really struggled from 3 at 23, and they were better at the free throw line, albeit by not a lot, 23 out of 29 for 79. And that was your matchup there. The final matchup takes us to Huntington, Indiana, where number 5-seeded Indiana Wesleyan faced off against 4-seeded Huntington. And in this game, this was a game where the Wildcats were looking to avenge 2 regular season losses to the Foresters. And Indiana Wesleyan at one point was down 9 points. They were down 44-35. And after that, and that was in the third quarter, and after that, they outscored Huntington 28-10, and Indiana Wesleyan picking up a massive, massive win here, and an upset at that, 63-54. The final score, outscoring Huntington 22-10 in the fourth quarter. And for Huntington, they fall to 1-7 in their last 8 games. They are on the bubble for the national tournament, and I think they're likely in. For Taylor, I know they're on the bubble going into the national tournament. It's going to be interesting to see if they make it. I don't think they do, but you never know. And then obviously for Bethel, with their big upset win over Spring Arbor, Bethel locked into the national tournament. No question about that, at least in my opinion, barring any other massive upsets from the other tournaments. And real quick, I want to say that in case you have not seen if you did not see my episode where I talked about teams that could take bids away from bubble teams, I do want to mention that quickly, that does happen, and that is a team that would not make the national tournament if they don't run their conference tournament. And a perfect example of that is we already have seen one team that could take a bid away from a bubble team, and that is St. Ambrose out of Iowa. They play in the CCAC. They upset the number 2 seed St. Francis out of Illinois last night, 68-66. And for St. Ambrose, they were a 7 seed. They were 14-14 going into that game. So really on paper, they were at least a 20-point underdog. And they are definitely one of my teams to watch to take bids away from bubble teams. Now, that's not a bad thing if teams are able to do that, because, for bubble teams, it might hurt, or it probably would hurt if you get a bid taken away. But on the flip side of that, that's a positive thing too for other teams, especially those that are right at the 500 mark or slightly below that there is no way they would make the national tournament if it wasn't for running their conference tournament. So that is obviously a conference that I'm keeping a very close eye on. And of course, a lot of people play tonight as well. I'm going to be paying attention to all those games when I look at all the final scores tomorrow morning. And I'm sure I will be adding to my list of teams that could take bids away from some of these other bubble teams across the country, including in the Crossroads League. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Now for IWU, 17-12 now. So, if they lose to Marion Friday night and finish 17-13, it's going to be really, really close for them getting in. Again, I think it's going to depend on what happens in other conferences, because in that scenario, if there's a lot of these other teams in these different conferences that end up taking bids away or several bids away, then that probably would mean that Iowa would not make it. So again, all eyes are going to be on the selection show next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, should Indiana Wesleyan lose to Marion on Friday night. I hope that's not the case, because I think if you win that game at Marion, I think Indiana Wesleyan is pretty much a guaranteed lock in the national tournament. Obviously, upsetting Huntington last night, that does help you a lot, but I think you probably more than likely need, at least really what you would need if you're the Wildcats, is run the conference tournament, because if you run your conference tournament, then you're not dependent whatsoever on any other team, or you're not dependent on the top seeds and all the other conferences to also win their respective league tournaments if you run the Crossroads League tournament. So that's really the easiest path for the Lady Wildcats, because if they don't win the conference tournament, then obviously all eyes are on all the other different conferences, making sure there's not multiple teams that could take bids away, which, based on how competitive everything has been this year, how all the upsets have been this year across all the conferences, it would not surprise me, honestly, if and I know last year we had 3 teams that took away bids, and it would not surprise me if we have 5 or 6, maybe even more than that. That would not surprise me a thing in the least this year, that is for sure. So looking up stats for last night, I'm going to start with the home team of Huntington. And for Huntington, they shot 35% from the field, 21 from 3. So again, they continue to struggle shooting the ball. And this is, I think, 4 or 5 straight games now that they have shot under 40%. So obviously that is just not really going to do it in order to win these games. Now, at least a bright spot for Huntington was this was the first time they've hosted a home Crossroads League tournament game under head coach Darby Maggard, and the last time they did was under the 2014/2015 season. So again, that is just absolutely awesome to see this Lady Forester team be able to host this year. And looking at stats for them, 16 points for Liv Raby leading the way, 5 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 5 of 7 at the line. She had 1 rebound and 2 blocks, 10 points for Addie Shank and 10 rebounds, so a double-double for her. She was 3 of 3 at the line with 1 assist and 1 block. 5 points for Tegan Akers with 2 rebounds and 1 assist. 6 points for Annika Nelson with 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 rebound, and 6 points for Kendra Sheets. Now, 2 of the 6 were at the free throw line, though. She had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. And off the bench, Lauren Merritt with 6 points and 9 minutes of action, 3 of 4 shooting with 4 rebounds and 1 block. 5 points for Kendall Yoakum, who struggled shooting at just 2 of 12, but she had 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 2 blocks, though. And Huntington was excellent at the free throw line, converting 11 out of 13 for 84. And for the Wildcats, what really hurt them was the free throw line, 12 out of 24 for just 50%. So if you make 12 more free throws, I mean, you win the game by 21 points. So obviously this game should not have been as close as it was, but still a massive win for the Lady Wildcats nonetheless. And leading the way was the young freshman Ayla Krieger with 15 points, 5 of 17 from the floor. She was 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 4 at the free throw line. She had 4 rebounds and 3 assists. You had 7 points from Isla Browning, 2 of 5 shooting, 3 of 7 at the line, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 steals. Those really, really good balanced numbers there. You had 3 points for Kylie Bettinger with 1 rebound and 1 steal. 9 points for Addie Hovey, 3 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 at the line, 8 rebounds and 1 assist. And only 3 points for Jay Hovey, 1 of 1 shooting, 1 of 2 at the line with 1 rebound and 1 assist. And then off the bench, you had 8 points for Haley Amy, 4 of 4 shootings. Really, really good to see that out of a young sophomore. She was 0 of 4 at the charity stripe, so obviously that kind of hurts a little bit. But she had 2 rebounds and 1 assist. 3 points for Tori Thompson, 1 of 1 shooting, which was all from deep. 2 rebounds and 1 assist for her. Only 1 point for Corinne Grivey, which was at the free throw line. She also had 3 rebounds and 1 assist. And the big one off the bench was another sophomore, Ellie Kelleher, 14 points. And this is the second time this year at Huntington that she has exactly scored 14 points. She scored 14 points the first time at Huntington. And what's crazy is she also was 3 of 4 from deep in that first game at Huntington. She was 3 of 4 from deep last night. So for whatever reason, Ellie Kelleher just plays absolutely lights out at Huntington. She was 5 of 8 from the floor, 1 of 1 at the line, leading the team in free throw percentage this year at 83%. She had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Really, really good to see that. And and then Iwu shot 47 from the field. It's really, really good numbers there. And then 50% from three. So excellent numbers in that category. And then I alluded to their free throw percentage as well. And both teams pretty even in turnovers. 12 turnovers for the Wildcats, 7 points off of that for Huntington. 12 turnovers for Huntington, 9 points off that for Iwu. Points in the paint pretty even as well. And largest lead, 9 for the Wildcats and 9 for the Foresters. 15 lead changes in that game. And that was your match up there. And that concludes recapping all the games from last night. Now, previewing the games for Friday night, you'll have 5-seeded Indiana Wesleyan at number 1 seed Marion. That will be at 7 p.m. And then you'll have 6-seed Bethel at 2 seed St. Francis. That will also be at 7 p.m. Friday night, and the winners of that game advance to the Crossroads League Tournament Championship game coming up Monday night. So looking at your updated overall standings, because obviously the league standings do not matter since this is the postseason. So your overall records, you got Marion now 27-2 on the year. St. Francis now goes to 26-3. Spring Arbor enters the national tournament 22-7 since they are a for sure lock. Bethel is still going on in the postseason. They go to 20-9. Again, they're a firm lock in the national tournament. At least I'm pretty sure on that. Huntington goes into the national tournament 18-11, barring any crazy, teams that take away bids. I shouldn't say crazy teams, but barring any teams that take away bids in other conferences, Huntington would go into the national tournament 18-11. Spring Arbor for sure in at 22-7. Bethel more than likely in the national tournament, but they are 20-9. They still have a league tournament game to play. The Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan go to 17-12, and obviously they still have at least one more game to play in the league tournament Friday night at Marion. Taylor ends their season, at least for now, at 17-12. Again, they're on the bubble, and then Grace ends their year at 12-17. So that is an updated view of all of that. So if you did enjoy this video, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. I truly appreciate any feedback that you may provide me, and it truly means a lot to have you as a subscriber on my channel. And it truly means a lot that you take the time to watch my content. I hope that watching my content has been very, very helpful to you. I hope it has been very informative as well. And so that is going to do it for this video. Now, please stay tuned as I will be back with you tomorrow, recapping all the men's Crossroads League Tournament quarterfinal games that are coming up tonight. I'll be recording that video tomorrow, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. And then, of course, this weekend, I'll be recapping the women's games from Friday night on Saturday and recapping the men's games from Saturday afternoon on Sunday. So, again, make sure that you stay tuned for all of that. And, again, please subscribe to my channel down below so you do not miss out on any of this content coming your way over the next month, because we're just getting started, and I am super, super excited for what's to come over the next month. So, again, please make sure that you subscribe down below. Thanks so much for tuning into this video, and I will see you tomorrow with more Matt Sports Talk. God bless.